All right, I hope this helps somebody. This is how I did my my seat reclining. I mean, actually moving my seat back about 4 inches because I don't like crowding the steering wheel. I've got kind of freaky long arms. I'm just 6 foot tall, but boy, if you're any taller than that and you've got a Honda Accord, this is a 9th gen 2013, but any of them, it seems like they just sit a little too close for me. So this is what I did. I want to remind you, the first thing you want to do is remove the battery cables, because there are going to be some parts under here that we're going to have to undo the connections. And then I've kind of got ahead of myself, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the whole thing, how I kind of do it, and how I made the bars myself. So you can buy these online for like, I think 350 bucks or something. That's fine, that's great. It's probably a lot easier, but mine's very safe, very sturdy. I just took them out because I didn't paint them. I should have got them ready in case they rust, but they work great. And you know, I got about 50 bucks in them. So, all right. And so we're clear. I don't know if this matters or not, but because of the legals, this is for entertainment. If you choose to do this and you screw up your car, it's on you. I'm not going to. I think it's like Legos. It's easy to do, but it's on you, whatever you decide to do. And I wish you the best in it. And hopefully this helps, guys. Now, this is my 2013 Honda Accord Coupe, and I'm 6 foot tall with freaky long arms, and I don't like to sit close to the steering wheel. So I wanted an extra 4 inches, and that's what I got. That's where it would normally be. Also, in doing this, it kind of raised this in a little bit, and it felt a lot better too on my knee. So you can see though that when I did this a year ago, I did not sand them and get them because I was in a hurry. So I'm going to prep them, but I thought I would take it apart and show everybody how I made them by hand, and then make them look pretty. Okay, so you will need some steel from Home Depot, which I can maybe link to, or it's just easy to look up. It's so this is my thumb, so it's yay wide, and then I got the default piece that was long enough to the whole thing. I have to cut off a piece, so it's not hard. But this is where the factory was, right here you can see, and this is where the new one is. So yeah, it's about 4 inches and a little bit higher in the front. But man, it feels so much better, and it fits myself a lot better. So let's take these off, and that off, and then this off, and then there's some in the back, and I'll show you how I set that up and how I put it all in. Okay, so this originally was bent down, and it's at that angle like that one was for the factory. You're going to buy a new one of these bolt and the nut that goes with it at the hardware store, and that's a 17 millimeter on this side. And in order to get it off, because it's now closer to this, it kind of needs some space to get in there. I use a 17 right like that. That's an offset wrench like that. But then as I do it, it'll turn. So now I've got to take, I think it's maybe a 15 under there, it might be a 17. I'm going to stick it under here and to grab a hold of the one underneath, and then take them off. And that's the same on the front and the back. So on these back ones, I did get them loose, but then they'll spin if I don't hold them somehow. So I've chosen to use this pry bar, and I'm just going to pull up, and also I'm pushed in. I knocked it back there with a hammer a little bit to get under it, because I have to get under the seat, but I also have to underneath that get under the bar and get to the nut. So we'll see if this works. The other side offers an even better view of what I'm doing. So I've got that pry bar underneath there. I'm now going to just, I'm not going to try to do this with one hand, but I'm going to try to knock that back in there until it hits the nut. And then I happen to be blessed to have a big gun here, and I'm going to use that, but you could certainly do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, and then I'll put the camera down, and then I'll pull on that bar and push it in against the nut, and then get it out that way. Okay, so I choose to get the nuts off, and then adjust the kind of bring it together, tilt it forward, and then turn it sideways so that I can then get to these. This one is fairly obvious, the big one. You have a thing that looks like that. You push that in. The trick is you got to push that in and pull out. Okay, so that's no problem. There is also this connection. I got to find where it went to. I think it may have went up here, but it won't matter too much. Now this little one right here, this is tricky too. So the way it works is, you see it's got a little thing right there, and you got to be able to push that in. I pushed that in with a screwdriver, a small screwdriver, and then I pushed in on this part right here, like where my thumbnail is. I pushed up. It's kind of hard. You kind of got to push down and push out. So that was the little white one. Now this one here, is a beast. In order to do it, I had to slowly pull this tab off, and that tab goes right in that little rectangular hole, right like that. And I am going to put it back. I was careful not to damage it too badly. It doesn't look too bad. But this booger, you got to take this and pull it out, and then, I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to try to do it while holding this camera. I'm going to pull. Well, you get the idea. I think I'm going to have to slide this out and then push the other half of the yellow in the other, to the right. Okay, so I got the yellow one off, and again, it is a matter of sliding this black piece out, but then I had to put a screwdriver right in the little edge right here so that I could kind of pry with my right hand, and then it came right out. But yeah, it's a tricky one, that yellow one. That's tricky. Once that's out, I want to show you something on my car. You see that scar that I had to clean up and paint and stuff like that? That will be on your car also if you don't put something over this, because despite all my effort and strength, this thing is heavy. And I did drop it on it and it scratched it. I mean, I just got the car and this is the first mod I did to it. So yeah, I'm going to get me a cover for, like, when you get them from Harbor Freight. It's kind of like for moving stuff. Anyway, it's kind of like a thick blanket. Put that over it so if I drop it. But just so you know, this is heavy, and I don't think I'm weak, but man, it'll get you when you're bent over like that. Okay, so I have it out. Of course, you might want to put it on some blankets or something. I'm just doing this for demonstration. And then basically I have to beat these back, and this is about there is where I wanted it to bend. So I beat that until it was flush, square. Just tried to use a square to kind of make sure, eyeball that, but and then I had to put it in and try it, and then try it out, and I kept going slowly, but eventually that's what those look like. The back ones you didn't have to mod, but you do have to make those flat in order to fit up on the system. So, and again, there's my moving blanket that I used so I didn't drop it. If I put the blanket down, I won't drop it. If I didn't, I knew I would. So in this system, this is the bar, simple bar. We're going to go ahead and take, well, we got to take this out. Let's see, it might be a 14. And there's a 14. Yep. So this goes in the original back spot. Okay, and it just like this very front one did, this one went in here. And so obviously the other side's the same thing. So to make this bar, what I had to do was I had to curve it on my vise, and I started at the front, and I had a straight piece. If you can imagine, this piece was straight, okay, and it was going like that, and so I bent this back till that began to bend. And of course I had it longer, it was much longer, and I didn't bother cutting it till I got that right. And then I started eyeballing, okay, on the frame, do I have space? Do I have to back up? And then I measured everything, okay? And then I measured the same amount. I believe it's 4 inches, center to center. And so that's kind of what that looks like. And then once I got the front done and I felt good about it, it was the time it was going straight like this. Well, then I began to measure and mark kind of where I wanted to bend this. And of course, it's not going to bend straight. You got to remember, it's going to put a little angle to it as it does it. And then once again I bent it straight across, And the whole time I just kept coming here and checking it and coming here and checking it and allowing it to fit to the car. Measuring it I found tough. So here's what the other one looks like. Let's take that off. And I know I overdid the torque on these probably, but I didn't want it moving anywhere. And then as far as, so same thing. That one I got better at it. This is the second one, and I got more of an angle. So it's just a matter of bending it. I didn't have to heat it or nothing. But then these, again, just got those at the hardware store. I did get stainless steel, and I got the kind with the little washer built into them, little plastic washer. And so they just set, you know, and then I eyeballed them and marked them very carefully with a magic marker, and then I just drilled them. And of course what I did was I started with a punch, put a dent in it, and then I began to drill, and then I wallered them out a little, going slowly. And that's the thickness. You know, it's not real thick, but I think it's about 2 inches wide. And that's how it looks, and that's how it goes. And it's just a matter of, you have to get a you know, a wrench under here to get those to hold while you're tightening them down, and loosen them. Let's clean them up. Okay, so I suggest after you get these done, you take the extra time to paint them and let them dry. I did not want the smell in my car, and I had to leave. I knew the next day. So I am going to use this Core 15 top coat direct to metal. No need to primer or undercoat. It says it's supposed to like kind of do a rust preventative coat, and you know, then I also got some rust reformer I might try, but this is a little more expensive and supposedly ranks well, so got it in gloss black. So we'll put that on here after we get it all polished. I'm going to try to use my grinder with one of these sanding wheels, and I've got a drill with another type of a hard bristle type brush. Okay, and of course use your safety glasses and make sure you wear your nicest shirt, because you know, my wife, she says I can't keep any good shirts. Okay, I will say I don't have to hit this real hard. This is probably the best way to go. I just got to get flat, adjust it, but I'm just hitting it barely. Even it's doing it one-handed, but I got two hands on it, just hitting it barely, not really grinding hard on it. Okay, so the shirt didn't get hurt, doesn't appear at least. Made the sparks go that way. Anyway, yeah, I just didn't do a whole lot of sparks, but does look a lot better. I think I got off all the sides. It even went like this. And of course the back, I might want to get that area a little better. I'll triple check it. Then I'll clean it off and prep it for paint, but hopefully keep the rust away. Okay, so I got all the rust off of both of them. I will say these both came from the same rack at Home Depot, so I'm not sure why. I might have painted the second one, you know, after thinking about it, but if I did, I barely painted it. But it had rust spots coming through, but it wasn't as bad as this one. So there you go. Now let's we're gonna do prep with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, I believe is the right thing over here. Got my cleaning. Yeah, it's isopropyl or ethanol. I'm sorry, ethyl rubbing alcohol. That's what I use. So we'll do that. We might do some degreaser before that, and then get them nice and clean, and then we'll be ready to put it to it. Okay, a couple things to think about. Once I got these all done and made sure they dried, boy, did that take off a lot of stuff. I would have told you they were clean when I cleaned them with just a dry rag, but using the rubbing alcohol after the degreaser really took a bunch more off. So I'm hanging them. It's my own rig here, which is basically just a tire tool stuck through a light stand. But I'm going to paint them, but as I brought them out to here, I handled them with this glove. so that I didn't get any of my skin's grease onto them. That was just a thought I had at my share. So let's paint them. Okay, so on this stuff, you do want to do a thin coat. It said that on the directions, and I started spraying and immediately started doing it thick, and it started running like, whoa. So I think I'm okay, but I don't care if it runs because it'll be under a seat, but still, it said to do 3 coats and let it dry about 8 to 10 minutes between. It's 83 degrees out right now here in July, so we'll let it dry for a little bit, and then another thin coat and another thin coat. Okay, so we put 5 coats thin on here of the black rust from Pour 15 or whatever it's called, and then I put 3 coats on this, and yeah, so then I put on a layer of clear just for good measure so that it's got some protection. I might put a second coat. Let's put them in. Okay, so we're back on to show you that I went ahead and painted this little area that was gray, all 4 of those areas, make it look a little better and match. And so we're going to, I'm just finished painting the nuts to the bolts, they're gonna go in here. We're gonna lay everything down, get it close. Then we're gonna put the 4 main bolts in that were original, in their original holes. And then after that, we'll bring the seat over and I will lay it in like I took it out. I'll lay the top that way. I'll probably get my wife over on the other side to help me so I don't hurt anything. And then once we do that, we'll plug everything in, and then we'll begin to fasten back down the bolts like you see me take them out that you know, are used to hold the noose placement for the seat. More to come. Okay, so these freshly painted bolts are in place, all 4 of them. I would like to point out that make sure you put these under, you know, before you tighten down the bolts. And then on that side, it was a little off, even though it had worked fine. When I went to put it back on, I had to kind of like tilt it up, put that one in first, then work my way back to that one. So we're now going to tighten these 4 up real good, and then we will apply the seat. So here we are, reaching the end. We set the seat in kind of sideways like that. My wife got on that side and helped me to kind of rearrange it because it's a bit of a pig to move when you're sitting back like I am and trying to do tools. So on the back side would be just as I'm going to do on the front. I'm going to shove this under the metal beam that we've made until I get a hold of that. I did not tighten these down in the back until I first got these a little closer, and then I tightened them, and then the same way up here. So we're going to on these front ones though, again, you could probably have to use something like this and then tighten them because to get in there. Maybe you can get a socket in there, but I couldn't. So looks a lot better and not rusted. Take care, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that if you try this, you have success. I want to remind, or if I didn't mention it, there's a guy on YouTube who did one for a Honda Fit, and I took his ideas and worked them to do it for a Honda Accord Coupe. But yeah, if you're 6 foot or taller or have long arms like me with 6 foot, it's a blessing. It feels so much better when I drive down the road and stretch my knee out because I have an old basketball injury. So thanks, and I wish you the best.